Welcome to SVG-TV News for Monday, November 8th. Today is Tuesday, November 12th, 2024. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. The Intertropical Convergence Zone, the ITCZ, is affecting the southern portion of the island chain, resulting in unstable conditions across portions of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Due to the already saturated nature of the soil, the SVG Met Services at midday issued a flash flood watch until 6 p.m. A flood watch is issued when conditions are favorable and there exists the possibility of flooding during the watch period. Meanwhile, in the 72-hour weather outlook, the SVG Met Services says dry mid-levels and sinking air aloft could mean an alternation of fair conditions with cloudy spells during Wednesday. It says a shear line will be affecting the region on Thursday, and some scattered showers are forecast with instability lingering into Friday. Winds are blowing from the east-southeast at 20 to 30 kilometers per hour, becoming easterly on occasion and decreasing in speed around Thursday onwards. Sea conditions are moderate in open waters, with swells peaking at 1.5 meters on the western coast and 2.5 on the eastern coast. Small craft operators and sea bathers are asked to exercise caution on Wednesday. The 72-hour forecast says a gradual improvement is anticipated from Thursday, and that thin layer of dust haze will eventually become insignificant. The St. Vincent and the Grenadines Meteorological Services will continue to monitor conditions and provide the necessary updates. Director of the National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO, Michelle Forbes, is reminding citizens to remain alert as heavy rains continue to affect the country. Forbes tells SVG-TV News that we are still in the hurricane season and that this month is forecasted to be the wettest.
3 more weeks to go, and in November being one of the wetter months. I've been saying this, November is traditionally one of the wetter months, and we need to monitor the information from the Met Services coming out, what we can expect in terms of rainfall. If you are living along the riverbanks, along areas that are prone to landslide and prone to flooding, need to be very much vigilant in a way anytime there's heavy rainfall, because localized flooding can happen. So just be aware, be vigilant, and continue to monitor.
The NEMO director also appeals to contractors to strictly adhere to guidelines when building retaining walls, following several incidents over the weekend where retaining walls collapsed due to the heavy rains.
So in the hurricane season, 3 more weeks to go, and in November being one of the wetter months. I've been saying this, November is traditionally one of the wetter months, and we need to monitor the information from the Met Services coming out, what we can expect in terms of rainfall. If you are living along the riverbanks, along areas that are prone to landslide and prone to flooding, need to be very much vigilant in a way anytime there's heavy rainfall, because localized flooding can happen. So just be aware, be vigilant, and continue to monitor.
NEMO also reported multiple landslides across SVG, as well as widespread flooding. 2 days after the large cargo and vehicle vessel Splendid Ace was damaged, it vacated the Kingston cruise ship berth today. Chief Executive Officer of the SVG Port Authority, Carl James, tells SVG-TV News that investigations into the cause of the damage are still ongoing. However, an engineer was brought into the country and repaired the damage, allowing the vessel to depart Port Kingston this afternoon.
Today, the vessel car carrier Splendid Ace departed Port Kingston around 2 p.m. The vessel on Sunday would have impacted with the wharf at the cruise ship terminal, where it sustained some damage. However, over the past few days, a temporary repair has been done on the vessel and certified by the NK class surveyor that arrived on island yesterday, following which the vessel requested and was given permission to leave island. And today, all clearances were arranged and the vessel was permitted to leave. The investigation with respect to the accident is still ongoing. However, we're pleased to inform that the berth is now clear and ready to resume normal operations.
Due to the incident which led to the vessel being moored at the cruise ship berth, the cruise ship Aurora was turned away on Sunday as it could not dock alongside the vessel. Providing an update on repairs at the ferry terminal and the Kingston main wharf, Jim said that they are nearing completion of the design and assessment phase.
Require engineering assessment and designs. I could confirm that for both locations we have engineering assessments and designs that are currently being developed. And once finalized, and we move ahead with the execution of these, or the implementation of the designs, we should have these facilities back in service. However, we are, as I mentioned before, we are still awaiting having these things finalized. We could appreciate that it's a repair to a facility that has been damaged. So unlike a completely new construction or something like that, additional due diligence have to be done. So we are in the process, and as soon as we're ready to move ahead with the repair and we have more precise timelines with respect to the execution of these projects, we will gladly inform and share that information.
The Kingston Main Wharf and the ferry terminal was severely damaged by Hurricane Beryl in July. Prime Minister Dr. Rav Gonsalves engaged with Vincentians in the UK during a town hall meeting in High Wycombe last evening. The meeting, held at the Hilltop Community Centre, was hosted by the High Commission for St. Vincent and the Grenadines to the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. In her opening remarks, newly elected Labour MP for High Wycombe, Emma Reynolds, expressed pride in the strong bond between High Wycombe and St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
And I know that in High Wycombe we have certainly the largest diaspora of people from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, certainly in the UK, but I think you were saying in the world, which is fantastic. And we know that people came to High Wycombe to work in the furniture making industry, which is obviously a very proud industrial heritage that we have. And we know that people came to contribute to other businesses too, to the NHS, to education, to charities, and many other sectors in Wycombe. And we have relied on the work and the generosity and the contribution of the diaspora here for many, many decades. So I'm really proud of the strong bond that there is between High Wycombe and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And I hope that one day, perhaps my parliamentary duties will take me to St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Prime Minister Dr. Rav Gonsalves in his address told the gathering that High Wycombe holds a special place for both him and the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. He highlighted that at present there are approximately 1,500 Vincentians serving in the British military, representing about 1.5% of SVG's population.
More than 7 times, proportionately, that the British people themselves provide for the defense of the British realm, which makes us very special, and which means that we should be asking for some special favors because our sons and daughters we put ourselves on the line to defend the British realm. It's a remarkable story, and we encourage it. And of course, more than half of our nurses whom we train come here, of course, to send back remittances. It pains me sometimes when they take some of our excellent nurses. But we're a free, open, democratic society. I can't put handcuffs on our young professionals. We just train more and more and more all the time. There are some nurses who are smiling here. Yes, I see one is raising her hand. When did you come up? You came up in 2022. And I will tell you this. I'll tell you this. We, under my watch, we give a free education for our nurses, free. And in addition, we pay them a monthly stipend to go to school. Hitherto, the profession was not one very populated by the children of the poor and the working people and the peasantry. But that is what you now have.
Outlining his vision for St. Vincent and the Grenadines within a post-colonial economy, the Prime Minister emphasized that a key feature of such an economy is the ongoing education revolution in the country.
I want to tell you this. We spend more money on post-secondary and tertiary education than I spend on hospital services. I spend more money on post-secondary and tertiary education than I spend on the police. We are on target as a consequence of this education revolution that by 2030 we will have on an average per household one college or university graduate per household in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. This is why our nurses and our young men and women who go to the armed forces, we come with a pretty good standard of formal education. Then, in building that education revolution, and I want to remind everyone that when we started in 2001, 4 out of every 10 12-year-olds, only 4 were at secondary school. Within 4 years, all 12-year-olds were at secondary school.
The Prime Minister, who is accompanied by his wife Eloise, is expected to return to St. Vincent and the Grenadines tomorrow after a 10-day visit to Europe. School stewards with the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Teachers Union, the SVG-TU, participated in a one-day workshop today as part of a series of workshops scheduled for Solidarity Week. While many stewards were reportedly unable to attend, President of the SVG-TU, Oswald Robinson, stated that the session was a valuable one designed to empower the stewards.
So we are happy to have this exercise. We have about 72 schools in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and every school should have a steward and an assistant steward. So if your school doesn't have an assistant steward, that is one of your responsibility. I know a few of you here are filling in for your steward. You're the assistant, and that is a good sign. And we appreciate you taking on this awesome responsibility. Remember that your school selected you, so you have a right to participate. And we look forward to further empower you, as the theme for this week explains. So thanks for coming, and we're going to have a very good interaction.
Public Relations Officer with the SVG-TU, Fiona Charles-Williams, said that it is timely to engage the stewards as it is essential for improving the work of teachers.
Their responsibilities not only to the students and to their schools, but to the union. Without this, we would be lost. And it's in this vein, we have decided that it's critical that we retool and we revisit our stewards to make sure and to ensure that our stewards and our unions are well represented and well equipped in the schools. So I urge you to take what you need to take from the workshop, glean what you must glean, ask those pertinent questions, and then go back into your schools and be that voice of the union in the schools.
This is the 49th edition of Solidarity Week, and according to SVG-TU committee member Anthony Compton, the session was expected to focus on the importance of the Code of Ethics, Health and Safety, and the roles and responsibilities of stewards.
This workshop aimed to equip you, the school stewards of the St. Vincent and Grenadines Teachers Union, with the essential skills and knowledge to effectively represent your union and advocate for workplace rights. At the end of this workshop, you should understand the roles and responsibilities of school stewards, learn effective communication strategies for engaging with members and management, explore grievances procedures and conflict resolution techniques. This training will be intense and comprise of 5 sessions.
This week is being observed as Teachers Solidarity Week under the theme Empowering Our Teachers and Investment in the Future. It was a hive of activity at the Methodist Church Hall today as primary schools in St. Vincent and the Grenadines displayed their science projects and judging got underway. Education Officer for Science, Juanita Hunt King, said 16 primary schools are participating with many projects focusing on how SVG can sustainably secure its future.
I can see here today, I guess as you go around you would observe it too, that these students have put a lot of work into their projects, and that work comes with also an excitement to compete and to, just showcase what they can do for science in this nation. A lot of them have really focused in on the theme of the fair this year, which is sustainability, securing a brighter future for SVG. So I'm pleased with what I'm seeing. And so we will also have presentations from some of the organizations with science themes. So places like NEMO, Ministry of Agriculture, we should have UNESCO present, Bury, Vinlec of course.
Some of the categories for the science fair include Earth and Space, Technology and Environment. According to the Science Education Officer, this year's participation is lower compared to last year, with fewer entries from the Grenadines.
We have a reduction. I think we may have experienced the effects of Beryl, some of the schools, and but we are pressing forward.
Do you have any from the Grenadines?
Yes, we have schools from the Grenadines. We have Mustique. We also have the Lower Bay, the Northern Grenadines, Beckway Anglican. So these schools are participating as well. But in the far southern Grenadines, we experienced a shortage in participation this year.
One of the schools participating in this year's Science and Technology Fair is the Sugar Mill Academy, which brought its grade 1 and 2 students to showcase projects focused on the category of Earth and its sustainability. Principal of the school, Liz Cottis, stated that the lower grades presented interesting projects that were worth sharing at the science fair.
We held our science fair, our internal science fair at first to choose the representatives who would come here today. And our 3 lucky representatives are Solomon, Joseph, and Micah. Solomon's project, Solomon loves all things insects, life period, all living things. So his project is exactly what he's all about. Insects. And Micah also looked at his backyard biodiversity, and he's actually written a book about it, what he's discovered all over St. Vincent, not just his backyard. And Mr. Joseph's project is down there, and he looked at critters that he found in his grandma's kitchen garden and how they benefit the soil.
Cottis emphasized the importance of involving children in science at an early age, which is something the school has been actively promoting.
Well, their curiosity, it's always very exciting for them when it's science subjects, especially when we have every other Thursday they have their practical sciences, and they have so much fun because our lovely teachers, Dr. Games and Listra Kalzak, they come in and they do such fantastic, whether it's an experiment, an outdoor walk, something to bring science alive for the students of Sugar Mill, and we see the results and we see how curious they are about life, and we love that.
SVG-TV News spoke with the excited students who researched and presented their projects to the judges.
I know the 3 purposes that insects do for us: pollination, pest control, cleanup crew, and food chain. I just want to be a scientist like David Attenborough. My project is about soil critters. The problem is what critters live in the soil of my vegetable garden. The results are critters found in my vegetable garden, worms and millipedes. Based on the good health of the plants, these critters help the plants to grow. Critters are good and some are harmful to plants. Do not harm the good critter. Do not spray the soil with pesticides to kill the good critters. My project about my backyard ecosystem, and when I grow up, my goal is to be a botanist and take care of nature, and I made a book about it, about my things in my backyard, and this picture's from Vermont Nature Trail. There are a lot of insects in my backyard, but there are more plants and animals in my backyard. There are pictures of things that I've seen in my backyard or inside by my house. And this is one when it came in from Hurricane Beryl.
The Science Fair 2024 is being held under the theme Sustainability, Securing a Brighter Future for SVG tomorrow. That's Securing a Brighter Future for SVG. Tomorrow, Wednesday, judging for secondary schools will take place, and on Thursday, the Science Fair will be open to the public for viewing. The Ministry of Agriculture continues to take steps to contain the giant African snail, which was first discovered in Kittels in June last year. In a recent interview, Agricultural Officer with the Plant Protection and Quarantine Unit of the Ministry of Agriculture, Michael Delpesh, said that despite their best efforts to contain the spread of the snails, there have been sightings in other areas.
They have done the limiting surveys to determine what the spread of the snail is. And so we found that it was also present at Camden Park, and subsequently we also discovered it in Otley Hall. And since then we have been doing our best to try and manage the spread or control the spread. Today we are here in Otley Hall, and we observe that the snail is slowly spreading out of its original location in this area. So currently in the Otley Hall area we have the snail being present just above the playing field area, and back on the hillside over to Lowman's Bay area. And we still have to do some work to determine how far where the boundaries are, so that is a work that is ongoing presently.
Delpesh reported sightings in Brighton and advised the public to refrain from removing the snails until consultation with the relevant authorities.
Brighton area, where we recently intercepted this snail in the vicinity of the playing field there as well in Brighton. If you have to move material, it would be best to consult with us at the Plant Protection and Quarantine Unit, and we would be better able to advise you as to whether you can move material from a particular area. All right, so that is going to be a challenge for us. It's a challenge and we are working on it. So we are really hoping that the general public could cooperate with us so that we reduce the pace at which the snail is going to spread.
People in the music industry are being advised to take the necessary steps to ensure their rights are protected. The advice comes from Bruno Leonce, chairman of the board of the Eastern Caribbean Collective Organization for Music Rights, ECHO, who was a guest on NBC Radio's Talk Your Talk radio program today. ECHO Incorporated is a non-profit organization that represents and licenses copyright music worldwide through agreements with collective management organizations, CMOS.
Nickname that, made this song with this person, this is the producer, this is myself, this is the percentage, so we have that in our database. You understand? And even in live performances, like he was saying, live performances, you go to the US or wherever and perform, and how do you get the royalties for that money? Because let's say the whoever is having the show, the promoter has his license, okay? But we don't know you went there and do all these live performances, all these places. How do you get paid when you're not informing the people who's supposed to be having your back that you're doing these things? So we can say, hey, John is going to be coming. You understand? We know that he's coming. You understand? Or John was there. We know that he was there. This is the music that he performed, because you don't only have the list of songs, you also have video of you performing there and so on and so forth. You understand? You had a permit to come in and perform. You understand? So all these things are evidence to be able to help you get your royalties.
Chief Executive Officer of ECHO, Martin A. James, who also participated in the discussion, highlighted the growing impact of artificial intelligence on the music industry.
Well, and I think is the impact of AI on how it's going to impact the film industry, how it's going to impact performances and the music sector. So the AI discussion is something that we need to have, because the fact is you really cannot run away from it. So you have to see how you could regulate, how you could make it work within your domestic space, and how you could use it to improve what you're doing, but not cause it to take over and make yours extinct. So the discussion is very